Welcome back, all you beautiful folks, to yet another episode of the most electric fucking podcast on the internet, Wide Right, with your two most electric fucking co-hosts on the internet, Ethan Hutton
and Silas Jackson.
And man, we're just fucking ready to get this shit rolling this week. We've got an absolutely... We've got a sweet episode ahead, starting it with the NBA. Last week, at the time of our episode's recording, the Golden State Warriors defeated the Orlando Magic 121-115. This was just the first of a pretty nice little weekend run for the Warriors. Steph Curry dropped 56. It was a season-high performance. Paolo Banchero responded really well, dropped 41, but his Magic just could not get it done. Fell just short. Steph buried 12 threes, which I think ties like fifth all time. It was just a crazy game for Steph. Pretty much no one else on the Warriors. But Silas, what did you think about this game?
I think it was obviously a great Steph game.
Legacy Steph game.
It is. But then it highlights, we talked about in the last episode whether we thought Golden State was contenders with Jimmy, and I still think no because of this game. Because you look at the rest of their team, right? Their starting five, the rest of them shot 3 for 8, 1 for 7, 1 for 5, 3 for 12. Jimmy Butler played 32 minutes, had 4 rebounds, 7 assists.
7 assists, though.
5 points. 1 for 7. 1 for 7 from the field. And
it was a tough game for Jimmy. It was a tough game for everyone not named Steph.
It is. I mean, their second highest point scorer was fucking Quentin Post with 18 points, dude. It's just not good. And you got
Buddy Hield just shit in the bed once again.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of like this one for Golden State. I personally didn't think they were going to win this game. I thought Orlando offered a pretty favorable matchup with Wendell Carter and Paolo down low. But Steph just took the game over. I mean, he scored almost half of Golden State's points. It was a really, really fucking sweet effort from him. But Paolo had a really good game. He had 41, 6, and 5. He shot the ball well, buried 4 threes. I just feel bad for him. I mean, yes. I think he needs some help.
He definitely does. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is pretty big help. Forgot to say.
Dude, they spent on him, man. Do you know what his contract is? He's getting paid like $84 million.
I do know that he played 34 minutes and had no points.
Oh, wow. So, he laid a big goose egg, man.
He did lay a big goose egg.
Man,
he's a boner. He's not very good. He's not very good at all.
Stinks. Come on, KCP. Step that shit up. So with that win, the Golden State Warriors claim the season series over the Orlando Magic. East versus West regular season series. 2-0. Clean sweep in just 2 matchups. They won their previous matchup on February 3rd, 104-99. That was a boring game. Steph didn't drop 56 in that one, so we're not going to talk about it. You ready to move on? You have anything to add, actually? You want to talk about the Warriors at all?
I would like to add that they beat the Hornets by 20 on yesterday. So
yeah, so they're 1-1 since that match.
That wasn't good, but Miles Bridges, 35 points, beast.
Y'all heard that new Miles Bridges verse?
Yeah. Support my boy.
So he leaves basketball?
Yeah, it's great.
Buddy Hield bounced back in that game, though. I mean, it's against the Hornets, so it doesn't really count, but he had 22 points.
That's true.
That's what you like to see.
But he's pretty much playing rec ball out there against the Hornets.
You think LaMelo's going to play on Friday? I was thinking about who Cleveland might play.
I hope he plays. It would be a bummer if he doesn't.
I think Cleveland's probably going to sit a few guys. I just hope they don't sit everybody.
Yeah. If they don't sit, if they play their starters, it'll look like the Harlem Globetrotters.
All right, you want to keep it out west? We'll go over LA.
Yeah, let's do it.
LA, the Los Angeles Lakers continued their immense surge since trading for Luka Doncic. They picked up their 4th win in a row on Thursday night, I believe that was, versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, winning 111-102. LeBron was sweet in that game. He had 33 points and 17 rebounds. LeBron is really just evolving again. This is like the latest evolution of LeBron, and I really think we'll talk about it a little bit in our power rankings. I'm so high on the Lakers. Mm-hmm. I really think this is a championship squad. I mean, it's not many times in history we've seen 2 players with not only this like level of IQ, but there have been some smart guys who are not Luka Doncic and LeBron James playing together, and they've meshed together so much better than I thought they were. Luka's cutting to the basket, never seen that before, dude. Luka's never hustled on a basketball court because he hasn't had to. But playing alongside LeBron, rather, he wants to get LeBron another ring, I think.
Yep.
And for that reason, I do think the Lakers are legit out west.
Yeah, I mean, we had them. We did our NBA power rankings post deadline a couple weeks ago, and I think I had them at 5, and you had them at 4. Because we were just predicting, despite the holes in their roster, that this duo would just be so good, and it's lived up to it.
LeBron's legit playing center.
And I'd like to note here, Dalton Connect, who they kept 7 for 10 from the field, and 5 for 8 from 3, 19 points in 25 minutes.
Is he off the bench?
Yes, he's off the bench, but he's crazy efficient. He still had 25 minutes actually.
Well, they had to keep him.
yes. But it was like they had to keep him, but it is good because he is a good player.
Yeah.
And I would also like to highlight, since we're talking about this game, the other LA team. I would just like to note how high I still am on Kawhi.
Dude, they're sweet. The Lakers beat them, which we're gonna talk. We can actually probably get into that game if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care much for the actual game itself because outside of Kawhi, nobody on the Clippers really did anything of note. But I think like 40 minutes.
It was more so about the win. I was mostly highlighting what LA did, which we'll go over just real quick. The Lakers did defeat the Clippers over the weekend, 106-102. This is one of our weekend games. I think this was Friday night. That game was. They had a back-to-back. LeBron in that game had 28, 13, and 3, and I mean he's legit just running the 5. He's leading the team in rebounds since they traded for Luka. He's just playing at such a high level. He's shooting the ball really well. He's still making good passes. I'll save it for later. I have a rant about LeBron that I'm going to go on. And Luka in that game versus the Clippers had 31, 2, and 5. It was relatively efficient. He's struggling to shoot the ball, but he's putting up good numbers, which I think is good for his confidence down the stretch. What did you have to add about the Clippers with Kawhi?
Oh, nothing. It just I think that as long as they have Kawhi, they're dangerous in the playoffs.
You think?
I think people discount the fact that he's old and injury prone, which he is.
But every time he's on the floor,
and I genuinely do think like he is one of those players who makes me excited to watch basketball. Like,
I like Kawhi,
I mean, he's like always just so electric whenever he's on the court, and it is a problem that he's injury prone. But I'd like to mention it whenever I can. That like I just really do love to watch him play basketball, and it's just a treat when he's on the court as a fan.
Absolutely, and I would also like to highlight that since Kawhi's been back, he has once again resurged as a two-way star. There were a lot of questions after all his bang-ups that he wasn't quite the defender that he was, but he's still defending at a really high level. And I think if you can just tell he's in the passing lanes. He uses his big-ass fucking bear claw hands to poke passes away. He's still that guy. And I do agree with you with James Harden. They're definitely legit. And I like Ivica Zubac down low. He's an enforcer. He had a good game against the Lakers in that second game, I believe it was. But I agree with you. The Clippers are 100% dangerous.
We could get into now, if you'd like to, I think Detroit-Denver is next?
Yeah. But before we do that, the Lakers won back-to-back versus the Clippers. They won 108-102. With that win, they did move up to the 2 seed in the West, which is definitely something to note. And before we moved on, I did want to highlight LeBron's defensive presence.
Yes.
At 40 fucking years old, LeBron is hustling on defense, probably like he never has in his career. I'm seeing LeBron routinely lock up isolation attempts because obviously they're going to target the 40-year-old dude on defense. But he's just not letting it happen. Where LeBron has been kind of a problem. He used to just let him go by because AD was roaming around. Go get swatted by my man down low. But no, LeBron has stepped up since they moved for LeBron. It's visible. LeBron wants a championship this year. I think he realizes how high this team's ceiling is. And I just wanted to note. I wrote an article also. I kind of got roped into it, but I had to make a case for LeBron's All NBA. Nod, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But I was happy to make the argument. I think LeBron's definitely deserving of at least an All-NBA second-team nod. He's one of the best isolation defenders in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to note his presence defensively and the kind of effect it's had on the Lakers and how that's helped them propel into championship contention. What was that game you want to move on to?
I was going to see
Detroit-Denver, right?
Detroit-Denver. Yeah.
Okay. This is part of our Friday night slate. On Friday night, the Detroit Pistons fell to the Denver Nuggets after a historic 8-game winning streak, their longest since they were contenders back in the day with Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, and Rip Hamilton. The Nuggets won 134-119, and Jokic put up a ridiculous stat line. I'll let you take over a little bit. Talk about the Nuggets.
They're just so good. I mean, like that's
Absolutely.
pretty much all you can really say. I mean,
they're great.
And Jokic is just he's fucking unstoppable, man.
He really is.
Nobody can do anything to stop him, and it's frustrating to watch. As just a fan, like I don't care one way or another necessarily against the Nuggets, but like to watch him, it's like he doesn't even look like he's doing anything that cool. Like he's not that athletic. Like he just kind of like walks you up in the paint and then just like puts the ball way up, and it's like this moon ball from like 4 feet away from the rim, and it's like nobody can fucking block it no matter what they do. And he's a crazy, crazy good passer, and he's maybe not the craziest defender in the world, but he is a solid-ish defender.
Historically, I wanted to make a note of this. You have been not the biggest Jokic fan.
No.
Has your perception of my boy changed? I've always been Jokic is probably my favorite player in the league.
Fan is maybe a different word than just like admirer maybe, but I still don't love to watch him play.
He doesn't play any defense, but just to watch him operate on the offense, is such a treat.
It's great. I just prefer. I don't know. I'm not nearly as big in the NBA as you are, and so I prefer these like big flashy. And he just kind of doesn't. But it is like I was sort of like a Jokic hater for a while, and it's impossible not to hate. It's impossible to hate on him now because I mean, there's just no denying just how unstoppable he is.
It's because he got robbed of the MVP, so now everyone has to like him.
Well, it's because Embiid got it, and I'm like, well, damn, I like him better than Embiid.
Yeah, so. Embiid is so trash. In that game, though, we should note Jokic's stat line. He finished that game with 23 points, 17 boards, 15 assists, shooting 6 of 12 from the field. Jamal Murray led all scorers with 31 points. So it was a really well-rounded game for the Nuggets. Who did lose to Boston over the weekend to fall down to the 3rd seed in the Western Conference with the Lakers overtaking them. And I would just right now like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Busch Ice.
I was going to say this is actually this is a mellow yellow for our listeners. we do not condone alcoholism on Wine Right.
Not alcoholism, just like the subtle enjoyment of alcohol. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't spin it like that. My grandma's listening. Apologize.
I'll never apologize for drinking a mellow yellow.
Whatever. All right. Do we have anything else to talk about the Nuggets?
I do not.
Is that all we had though for the Nuggets?
I think it is. I think we can.
We mentioned the Boston game. Before we hop away from the Nuggets, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to Christian Braun. Third-year guard Christian Braun is, and he's taken a massive leap forward for the Nuggets. Last year he averaged 7.3 points per game. He's up to 15 points per game this year, and he's shooting the ball crazy effective. 57.2% from the field, 36.3% from beyond the arc. I think Cade has he's far and wide the most improved player, but to not bring up Christian Braun is stepping up for a team that needed a fourth option like him. I think he really helps Denver step back into the title contention, whereas last year they fell short, obviously. But he's just been a great asset for them on the wing. I'm a fan of him. He came in as kind of like an oversized guard, but he's really evolved to play on the wing, and I just wanted to give him a shout out.
Yeah, I think he's deserving of it.
Yeah, we give credit where it's due on this show. So where'd you want to move out to next? I'll let you pick our next game.
I say we go to your boys, the Cavs. Big
fuck yes! The Cleveland Cavaliers defeated the Boston Celtics 123-116 on Friday night as part of a loaded Friday night slate, and I watched point A to point B of this game. I watched the entire fucking thing. All right. So what you might have missed is that the fact that the Cavs went down 25-3 in the first quarter, and Jason Tatum said, "Fuck out of here," and Jaylen Brown said, "Fuck out of here." Exactly. Guess what they did? They blew that fucking lead thanks to 41 points, 5 assists on 13-26 shooting, connecting on 5 of 12 3-pointers from Donovan fucking Mitchell, who should be an MVP candidate. The Cavs are just they showed why they're contenders. This probably fulfilled my hope that they could be contenders. This team is a contending team. They tied up the series against Boston, and the refs wanted this team to lose so bad, Silas. I wish I could tell you how bad the refs wanted the fucking Cavs to lose in TD Garden. And on social media, you might have seen I put out TD Garden, Olive Garden, Cavs in 5. Doesn't fucking matter. Any court, any fucking where. This team is so legit. Jason Tatum had a pretty solid performance, 46, 16, and 19. Wasn't enough. Jaylen Brown, 37 points. Wasn't enough. You can't beat this team because they're so deep. From the roster down, they're just a fantastic team. And I would just... God, I wish I could tell you how much I love this Cavs team. They outscored the Celtics 59-42 in the second half. What do you think about the Cavs, Silas?
They're really, really good. And I don't think I could ever say anything that you haven't said about them on this podcast or otherwise, so all I can really do is concur for fear of being throttled. so I'll just second everything you've said.
Oh, wow. The Celtics obviously followed that up with the win over the Nuggets, but the Cavs did become the first team in the league to clinch a playoff spot with that win. Big round of applause for the Cavs. I love to see them putting on. They went on to take down the Blazers on Sunday night. That was a close game. They came back from I think it was 18 down. They were down by 18 to the Blazers, but they came back to win that game 133-129. I'm sorry, that game was on Monday night. Man, I'm so pumped about the Cavs.
Yeah, just white Hornets upset Friday.
Silas and I are going to attend the Charlotte Hornets Cleveland Cavaliers game on Friday, where I'm a pretty firm believer the Cavs are going to sit just about everybody. I don't think there's anyone who plays, but what game you want to talk about next, pal?
I think we got. Did we cover? We didn't cover Indy and Miami, did we?
We did not.
The Heat beat the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Miami has not been great since trading Jimmy, as one might imagine. But Indiana has actually been pretty good.
They have.
They're the 4 seed in the East. They are. I sort of feel like kind of a quiet 4 seed. I feel like there's a lot of teams that get talked about, especially in the East. There's a lot of top-heavy talent. And
the East is definitely deep.
And Indiana is just and sort of like the Grizzlies on the inverse are just sort of like quietly in this really, really crazy good spot. I see you got a mellow yellow. That's good. But then, like the Heat, they still have some sort of some firepower a little bit without Jimmy, and they're still in the playoff race at the 8th seed. I don't know. I don't really think they're going to make any crazy noise in the playoffs at this point, but the fact that they're still competitive in games is a good sign for them moving forward.
I mean, that was definitely a good win for them, especially after trading Jimmy. That put them at 4-6 since trading him off to Golden State. Spicy P had a really good game. They were able to overcome that, but I don't know. The biggest thing for Miami for me is how Bam Adebayo just really hasn't stepped up as a second option since Jimmy's been gone. And I it just sucks because I really think the Heat are just like a piece away. I mean, Tyler Hero's legit. I mean, he's a legit number
He was an
one
all-star,
option.
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And it just stinks. I mean, Jimmy's obviously thriving in Golden State.
What the fuck, man? I was just looking at NFL prospects on Jaden Higgins, man. My God forbid a guy tries to prepare for later in the pod. God, man, I'm. Yellow's got me fired up.
Shit.
My bad, everybody.
Yeah,
That's on me.
Did you talk about what Spicy P had in this game?
What's up?
Spicy P.
I'm not familiar. Spicy P.
You don't know? Oh, that's Pascal Siakam.
Sorry, man.
I should have known.
I'm not clocked in like that.
Dude, I was like thinking like the whole time I went to grab my Mellow Yellow, like why you weren't bringing up Spicy P. It doesn't matter.
Moving on. Are we at the NBA Power Rankings here?
We're at the Knicks-Memphis game.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the Friday night slate.
We've been jumping around so much on this.
Dude, who gives a shit, man? Fuck the Knicks.
The idea, I'd like to say this to piggyback off of you. The idea that Jalen Brunson is better than Donovan Mitchell is fucking preposterous.
I don't even know where you got that idea from. I'm happy you made that point though.
It's
not one I was gonna make, but go ahead.
I mean, he's good, obviously, but he's
Brunson,
not.
Yeah.
He's not the 3-level scorer that Mitchell is, and he never has.
I love hearing you talk right now. Just keep going.
And it just fucking irks me because he's just fucking discount Donovan Mitchell at every single thing.
Where is this coming from? I love this episode right now.
And because he plays in fucking New York, everybody loves him more, and he's got all the media attention because no one gives a fuck about Cleveland. But like, he's not as fucking good. He's just not.
Oh my God, Silas's Donovan Mitchell rant just now was like my top 2 favorite moment of Wide Right, and it ain't too. Holy shit. I wish I could say that was scripted. I wish I could say I wrote that and have Silas at gunpoint right now and told him to say that. That was fresh off the dome. Dude, give me some love off that. That shit was fucking sweet. That was one of the best things I've ever heard.
So that had me on, man.
Dude, that was fucking awesome. So, the New York Knicks defeated the Memphis Grizzlies as part of the Friday night slate, 114-113. OG Anunoby hit a game winner off a Jalen Brunson pass, but not as good as Donovan Mitchell would have laid it.
No.
To your point.
Donovan Mitchell would have shot it and did it. He would have relied on some fucking bum ass to do it for him. Fucking have some goddamn initiative, dude.
Oh, man.
What a bozo.
So, the Knicks are currently 40-20 on the year. They're the 3rd seed in the East. They're gaining a little bit on Boston, just 2.5 games behind the Celtics as of our recording on Tuesday night. So, shit, man. What do you think about the Knicks? If anything.
They are really, really good. If you, They're
good because of Cat, though. It's not because of Jalen Brunson.
And Josh Hart, his hustle. I really do think they're one of the only teams, maybe the only team. They have by far the most well-rounded starting 5. And Denver's up there too, I think. Mm-hmm. But all 5 of their guys are really, really key contributors in every single game, and nobody like. Brunson did not have a crazy game, 10 for 23, 23 points, and yet they not only stayed they squeaked it out, but they stayed afloat because Bridges has 15, Anunoby has 19, Towns 11, and a good defensive performance, and Hart, never the most efficient guy, but he's always a contributor, and they also have a pretty solid bench all around. They maybe don't have. I mean, Brunson is a superstar, even though he's not nearly like that top level. And and so is Cat. I think they're both sort of in that like tier 2 of superstar. But to have 2 of those guys and then 3 more in your starting 5 who are really, really top tier contributors. I mean, they're just tough to poke. They're tough to poke holes in.
I agree with what you said. God, I wish this team, like, just as a basketball fan, I wish this team moved for KD. They gave up their entire future for Mikal Bridges and Cat and OG Anunoby, and they're paying OG like $200 million, and they're paying Mikal Bridges like $200 million. And man, I just wish this team moved for KD. As a Cavs fan, I'm grateful they didn't. That would have really stunk dealing with fucking KD again, but they just made the wrong move, I think.
Yeah, I do. I kind of almost disagree. I sort of feel like a lot of NBA teams struggle so much with depth, and I like the way that they've built this team out. Even though KD is better probably than Mikal Bridges and Anunoby put together,
right.
I think the philosophy of getting a few really, really good players holds truer than getting one like generational player. If you can get 3 like top tier contributors, especially in the NBA, it's better than to just have one.
Well, my argument to that would be that the Knicks are, no matter how they continue to build this team, they're never going to have their top tier guy who's been at that stage and in the finals hitting a 32-foot jump shot over LeBron James with the game on the line.
I mean, that's true too.
And KD's ability to play off ball, I mean, OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are definitely 2 off ball guys. I see Mikal Bridges as a guy who needs the ball more in his hands to create for himself. I just think if they could have managed to swing Brunson, KD, and Towns instead of Brunson, Anunoby, Bridges, and Towns, I would love that way more for them.
Yeah.
And I just think they have a ceiling on them. Especially with Cleveland and Boston ahead of them, I think like adding KD probably would have propelled them in the title rankings. But I'm definitely not out on New York. I mean, you can't lie. This is like this is the most talented starting.
I think like I don't even really disagree with you. I think KD definitely puts a higher ceiling on the team. But I just think like it's cool to see a team not built in the stars and scrubs manner, like it always is in the NBA. I mean, to see your starting 5, 15, 19, 11, 23, 12, and then Miles McBride on the bench with 17.
He's been sweet. Miles McBride's
he
been
has,
sweet,
and you've got like to just see a team like this where every single player is contributing and nobody is like ball dominant to that unattainable level. Like it's cool to watch, and I think it's good, and I think they can really make some noise come playoff time.
Speaking of the Knicks, they did go on to beat Miami over the weekend, 116 to 112 in overtime. That game propelled them to just 2.5 games behind Boston. I could definitely see them maybe sneaking up on Boston, taking the 2nd seed, especially. Boston's hasn't shown any sign they're going to slow down after the Cleveland game, but anything could happen. The playoff race is heating up. It's interesting to talk about. We've talked about them a lot, but I would really like to take another dive into them if it's okay, and that's with the Phoenix games, which we haven't gotten into yet.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so was that on Thursday? Yeah. That was on Thursday. The Pelicans upset the Suns 124 to 116, which is weird because it was actually a decent performance from the Suns. All 5 of their scorers shot in double figures. KD.
The Suns beat the Pelicans.
They did?
No. Sorry, they played on Thursday and Friday. My bad.
Yeah, they beat the Pelicans on Friday.
Yeah, my bad.
But I was talking about
the Thursday game.
Yeah, that was Zion's triple-double game, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to talk about this game more so because it just shows how Phoenix can do things good and then they still lose. Phoenix is so destitute at this point of the year. They're only 3.5 games behind a Mavericks team that's now down Kyrie, Jaden Hardy, Daniel Gafford, AD, and Derek Lively, and they might not make it back into the playoffs because of that. And I do we don't have this scheduled, but I would like to talk about the Mavericks because of what happened to them. But Phoenix is just they're just so not ready to take that leap, and I don't even know who's in 12th. Maybe I can figure that out for. I don't know who has the 12th seed in the West.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about who that could even be, but I don't even see Phoenix as a team that's ready to make the leap and go on as someone else. And I think I had it in our. Yeah, here we go. The Timberwolves on Sunday beat the Suns again, 116-98, and that gave them their fourth loss of their last 5 games, and their only win was that Pelicans game that you talked about.
Yeah.
And I just can't understand it. I can't understand how you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant on the same team, and you're the fucking 11th seed in the West.
Because to piggyback off of my Knicks take is they're like anathema to the Knicks. They have no depth at all. They are KD and Devin Booker, and they are nothing else. I mean, their starting 5 can put up points, but it's never on good efficiency. And outside of them, every single player on their bench, it is a detriment to have them on the court. And that's the grave that they've dug for themselves to get this crazy stars and scrubs roster. And it really is. They have the high-end players, but then they have probably the one of if not the worst bench in the league.
I now can tell you what the problem is for the Suns. Read over and read the computer screen. I didn't even realize that.
That checks out.
Mike Budenholzer's coaching the Suns right now, folks, and that's their fucking problem.
Yeah.
As soon as the Suns move off of Mike Budenholzer, guarantee you this team's ready. They need a big man. Bol Bol's stepping up in a big way. Bol Bol's been playing really well.
Been playing pretty good.
I think he's been averaging like 13 points over the last 5 games. He's really stepped up because they're finally giving him minutes. Bol Bol's been like the worst kept secret in the NBA over the last 5 years. I'd fire fucking everybody. I'd buy shit, dude. We should buy the team. They're probably going to be for sale. We should buy the team. I can't fathom how bad Phoenix is. Not to mention they're going to lose Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's not staying. So Kevin Durant's 1 foot out the door. Phoenix probably, I'd be surprised if they made the playoffs because, I mean, they stink right now. They're depleted, but Dallas has players who will play. Jesus Christ. That was probably their first mistake, hiding Budenholzer.
Yeah, not good.
That dude's a shitter in the worst fucking way. Is that it for our game coverage? Because talking about the Suns just disgusted me.
Yeah,
I did want to talk about the Mavericks a little bit.
Go ahead and say it. I don't have much to say about the Mavs, but you go ahead.
You might after this.
Okay.
So the Mavericks on, I think it was last night, played the Kings and lost 122-98.
Yeah.
But in the first quarter, Kyrie drove to the lane, hit a Euro step, went down, immediately grabbed his left leg. Turns out Tuesday morning he's got a torn ACL, done for the year. So a little while after that, I wrote something about this today. Dallas takes to social media. Jaden Hardy's out for a while. So Jaden Hardy joins Derek Lively, AD, and Daniel Gafford, which is pretty much their fucking starting 5. And they're all done. And Dallas, like I said, is just 2.5, 3 games ahead of Phoenix. Phoenix might use this as some fucking motivation, but even if they do, they're not going to make it anywhere in the playoffs. Is it bad luck? Do you think it's bad luck? Do you think it's because they traded Luka?
I don't think it's bad luck, but I mean, how much can you put it on luck when you've got Kyrie on your roster? I mean, he's old and injury prone himself. I mean. And then you ask him, I don't know how much of a role this really plays, but then you ask him then to take on the dominant role when you trade Luka. And
I mean, he wasn't doing it. Kyrie's done it. Kyrie's been the dominant player one other time in his career. That was in Boston. We saw how that worked.
Yeah. And I just and you ask him to take on that extra workload. He
could have done that with AD. I think. I really liked Dallas. Like, this is legitimate. I liked Dallas with AD. I thought AD and Kyrie could have been a duo that maybe made noise, maybe got, put up a fight in the semis, maybe made it to the Western Conference Finals.
But that's you reap what you sow, right? You have an old injury-prone star in your team, and you trade for another one, and this is the risk that you run when you do that. And unfortunately, both of those big risks happened for him, and it's just kind of tough to reconcile that.
It sucks. I'm sorry, Dallas fans, but it's really all. I mean, it all comes down to management. I don't know why you trade Luka. Nico. I'm not gonna say I hope that's fucked up, but Nico Harrison deserves to lose his job after.
Yeah. Do we want to get into the power rankings?
We can go ahead and do the power rankings now. That was about all I had for our coverage. Do your rankings differ from mine at all? We can do it like the round robin we did last time.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. My notes.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'll lead us off. We're going to go ahead and get into our bi-weekly NBA power rankings. This will be something we do up until the playoffs start, which will probably be, another list, maybe two. But to top my list off, unsurprisingly, maybe a little bias playing into this decision, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They posted 2 of the most impressive comeback wins I've seen all year. They're the number 1 team. They have the number 1 record in the league. They're 50-10. Shit, dude, they might fuck around and win 70 games. I hope they do. I've seen everything I need to see. I'm fully bought in on this Cavs team. I'm ready to expect at least a finals appearance from this team, if not a championship. This is a championship team. I mean, the addition of DeAndre Hunter, he can defend 1 through 5. He's already stepped up. He had 32 against the Blazers. He's already stepped up. I would like to see him in the starting lineup a little bit more. I'm not sure if that's something they intend to do. I also like Ty Jerome. I'm a firm believer that if DeAndre Hunter steps into the starting 5, Ty Jerome needs to be the 6th man of the year. They're number 1 in just about everything. They score 130 points a night. They're just so unreal. Against them, I would really like to see a little bit more from Evan Mobley, and I saw this a lot in the Boston game. He was aggressive, but it was inconsistent. And I believe it was Richard Jefferson who says if they're going to make a title run, he needs to be a 25-13 guy, which I completely agree with, and I completely expect from a guy like Evan Mobley. I mean, he's taken a significant leap, and the numbers might not do it justice. You might not be a believer in Evan Mobley just because of he's averaging like a half a point more than he was last season. Look at his 3-point percentage. Kenny Atkinson has just done wonders for this guy, and I fully believe. I think one of this Cavs team's downfalls is because they're kind of in limbo. Donovan Mitchell stepped up as of late, but he's not always been their closer. They've had different closers at times, which I've never believed in a championship team. But I would just like to see a little bit more from Evan Mobley, especially alongside Jared Allen. Jared Allen's not who everyone thinks he is. I would easily swap him for Isaiah Hartenstein and be a much happier Cavs fan. But I'm done with my rant. I'll pass it to you for your number 1.
I've got Cleveland too, and pretty much nothing more to say there. I don't think it's a runaway number 1.
I don't think so either. This is going off the win over Boston.
Yeah. So and to segue that, I've got Boston at my number 2 as well. We both concur there, and then after that, my list differs from yours.
Okay. Well, I've got Boston 2. Do you want to talk about Boston a little bit? I kind of ranted about Cleveland. I feel bad not giving you some.
I don't have a ton to say about Boston.
Boston speaks for themselves.
They lost to Cleveland, which is why I now have them above.
Embarrassingly.
Yes. But overall, my opinion doesn't really change on them. They're just still so crazy good. They've got the depth, and they have the high-end talent. I don't have any more doubts about Boston than I do about Cleveland.
Right. So that's why they're
one or two I could completely see changing.
You could definitely make a case for them for number 1. I mean, they were leading the series entering the game. I mean, it's not like they lost in a landslide. They were leading 25-3 at one point. But it's just more about what the Cavs did for me.
Yep.
I started us off at number 1, man. So if you want, I'd be happy to hear your 3 right now.
I've still got the Thunder at 3.
Okay.
And for pretty much all the same reasons I had them at 1 a couple weeks ago. I just still think Shea is unbelievable.
He had 51 over the weekend.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he is pretty much as good as anybody right now. And I mean, as a fan, he's so fun to watch. I mean, he's crazy good, and they're just a really exciting team and a fun team. And they've got not only the win now roster, but they also have the future. And I know the power rankings, like the future doesn't matter for the power rankings, but they're just still like are a really exciting team, and I'm still really high on them. So I've got them at 3 and in the same tier as 1 and 2. I don't think they're a step down at all.
I don't think so either. But my number 3 is a team that I think has joined the conversation as the 1 through 3 on your list. I have the Lakers. I kind of talked about them a little bit earlier, that all the reasons remain the same for this exact argument. I mean, the lack of big is concerning. LeBron's averaging 11 rebounds since Luka's been on the team. Mm-hmm. And LeBron played center in Miami. He played center in Cleveland. He's not a traditional center by any means, but shit, dude, I'm not going to fucking bet against LeBron to box out some of the best bigs in the league. Especially playing with that newfound energy, which I really think he has. This is just more so about what LeBron has turned into at this juncture of his career. He's so crazy efficient. He is just fulfilling a role I've never seen LeBron take, which is almost as their number 2.
Yeah.
He's deferred to Luka, which I think is really indicative of LA's future. I'm not out on LeBron returning to Cleveland. He still might come home, but I just think the Lakers are sweet, man. Yeah. I mean, we've never seen a pairing like this, so I can't put a ceiling on them by putting them below a team who hasn't won a championship in their existence. Mm-hmm. And that'll just be indicative of. I said that word again. That's just who I have at number 4. That's OKC. Yeah. For all the reasons you said, I'm not checked out on OKC by any means, but like I said, it's
more so respect for the Lakers to get up to 3.
Absolutely, and they haven't lost anything defensively. They've become the number 1 defensive team since trading Anthony Davis,
which is crazy.
Speaks volumes to who LeBron's been. So I'll let you get into your number 4.
Which is I have the Lakers at 4. I had the Lakers at 5 last time we did this, and I am going to put them at 4. I do think that they've done it. I don't think that they've done enough necessarily for me to put them above OKC, because I don't think OKC has done anything to warrant dropping.
That's fair.
And I do think the top 3 for me is still pretty set in stone. But I don't disagree with anything you've said about the Lakers. What they've done is super impressive, and within the next stretch of games, it would not surprise me if they were to sway me and go a little further. And if you wouldn't mind, I'll get into my 5 here.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd like to hear it.
So I've got Cleveland, Boston, OKC, LA, and then at 5 I have the Nuggets.
I was hoping you'd go there. Okay, we got a little debate to get into. That's always friendly.
And I know I just said all of this. Do you care if I spoil your list right here?
Go ahead.
You've got the Knicks at 5, and I know I just went on this long rant about how good I think the Knicks are, because they've got all their star talent, like their star power dispersed really well across their roster. I do think that the Nuggets also have that.
Yeah.
And they have the best player in the NBA on their roster.
Absolutely.
And they also have the role players to really, really get it done and can really contribute. But the difference between them, to me, and the Knicks is that Jokic is the best player in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And like that kind of player is just completely unstoppable to a point where even like Jalen Brunson is just never going to reach that level.
Right. I'd love to offer a counter if you'd hear me out. I put New York, as Silas said, as my number 5 in this one. And I can't make an argument against the Nuggets. I mean, they have championship pedigree. They have everything. They have the best player in the NBA. They have Jokic. Jokic is, as far as I'm concerned, a top 10 player all time for me. I love Joker. I simply could never argue against him. But I will argue in favor of another team, and that is the Knicks. What I've seen from Karl Anthony Towns this year is a second-team All-NBA center behind Nikola Jokic. I see Karl Anthony Towns, who could step up if need be, as this team's number one option. Jalen Brunson's not always been the most consistent player in the playoffs, and that's what I love most about this team is that they've added Karl Anthony Towns, who's been pretty good in the playoffs to his credit throughout his career. And this is just what they've added in Karl Anthony Towns. Not to mention he's brought a pretty sound paint presence for them, which I'm a fan of. I wouldn't be at all surprised if New York met Cleveland in the semis and fucking beat them in 7 games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I don't really. I feel.
It's a toss-up.
Essentially the same.
It's a toss-up. I
didn't do any honorable mentions here, but if I would have, I think the Knicks would be at 6.
Yeah, I'd have Denver. I'd have Denver at 6.
Yeah, I don't have really any disagreement here.
Yeah, no, I can't think of any reason I disagree. Moving on now, we will start. We'll move it over to the NFL side of things, where the news of the week, I guess you could say, would be the NFL Combine, which took place over the weekend.
Yes.
Is it over now? I think
it's over.
All the position groups went. So there were some really electric performances, some stout Combine performances. I think this running back class actually set the average 40 time since like 2003 or something. I think it was. Yeah. I'm always a Combine watcher. What do you think about it? Are you a watcher of the Combine?
I don't watch it. I'm sort of a believer that the tape matters more in the Combine, and so I don't put too much stock, spend too much time actually watching it. I do. I mean, I read about it after it's all said and done, but I don't like. People run really slow or people will run really fast, and everyone all of a sudden gets like super, super high on somebody or like is completely out. And I just think like if they're dominant in college on tape at a good school, then the Combine should, matter maybe a little bit, but it should take a back seat to the production they actually put up. Yeah, I think it is useful though for like if you have a really good player and with really good production and then they test really good and that like sort of affirms your belief that that player is really good. Kind
of like DK, who I was going to bring up. I like watching the Combine just for like dudes like DK. Like I like seeing players test well. I definitely agree with what you said. I don't use it like as some big testament to gauge who a prospect might be. But I enjoy watching it just as a fan. I like watching the drills and stuff. I'm just a big football guy, me personally, so I do enjoy it. But this will segue us into. We mentioned some big Combine performances. I want to hear about who you think might have risen their stock in the Combine.
So I'll give my 1 and 2, and then I'll let you.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll finish out with the 3. So my 1, I've got. Oh God, I'm gonna butcher this fucking name, even though I haven't put up.
Is it? I want to ask you: is this? Are you going in like who you think had the best performances down?
I'll say who has risen the most for me.
Okay, mine was just kind of general, but I'll put mine in an order. Who I think.
So I've got Basil Tootin. The Virginia Tech.
Yep.
He's the kind of guy who is not very big, doesn't have the craziest contact balance in the world. Someone who I was sort of like, yeah, this guy's a cool college player, but but his speed, he set the bar for running backs in the 40 at 4.32, which is a crazy time, and that is speed that shows up on tape. And his laterals, like his cuts, are very practical and very quick, and he doesn't lose speed on his cuts. And I think in a deep running back class, this guy, I don't know necessarily if this even brings him into the top 2 rounds for me.
It could. It definitely could because I knew he was fast. I watched a fair amount of Virginia Tech. They were a pretty exciting team this year. I didn't know he was 4.32 fast.
No, and like that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about is like you see it and you're like, oh man, that guy's explosive, and then you see him run and you're like, oh, he really is explosive. And I really do feel like this allows him to be my 5, and like in like running back rankings, this makes me crack the top 5. And like I still have questions about him as a bell cow or whatever, but he has risen a lot for me, and not just this, but he tested well and all like his whole RAS, and I think he had the highest like speed score, which takes into account weight, because he's 5'11", 210, and he ran a 4.32.
Oh wow! I thought he was lighter than that.
Yeah, no. So like he's not just like small and light. I mean, he's got some build to him, and he can move. And then my number 2, I'm gonna say Dart has risen for me, and I don't.
Yeah, he got that swag, baby.
Yeah, he's got that swag. He's
swag.
got that swag. I mean, I don't. It's tough because a lot of times, like these guys, it's just routes on air. So like you sort of should think like, yeah, whatever, dude, it's routes on air. But then you see some of the other quarterbacks do it, and you're like, okay, well, this guy's fucking blowing it on routes on air.
Will Howard.
For viewers. Like, and it's like, dude, what the hell are you guys doing? And Dart is like throwing bombs, and he didn't. And like throwing bombs on the money and leading the receivers in stride, and he's the kind of guy like I already you know he's got the power arm, right? That's one of his traits. But,
yeah.
And then obviously I think only 2 quarterbacks ended up actually running the 40, so it's hard to tell. But I do think
I wish Will Howard did.
Yeah, he's got it. Like Dart's a good athlete. I
thought Dart maybe could have risen even a little more. I knew he was going to run good. I think it was kind of probably an agent's suggestion for not a lot of quarterbacks to run, but he probably could have belted out like a sub 4.7 speed, and I think that definitely might have.
And I'm gonna actually, I think he's good, and I like that. I liked his combine performance.
I'm so excited for a quarterback.
He did everything that he was supposed to do, and I think he did it well. And I'm actually going to go ahead and give you my 3, even though I started.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to say I'm going to give you Marion Hampton as a big rise.
I wanted him, dude. I talk about him because I have some thoughts for him. He was on my list originally.
And we're going to do our skill position rankings soon, and he's going to be.
Go ahead, tell me where he's at for you.
He is my RB2.
He's my dude. He's firm at my RB2.
I don't.
You go first. I want to hear what you have to say about him.
I'm a big UNC guy. I'm going to preface that.
He went to Cleveland. Do you remember our scrimmage sophomore? We almost scrimmaged against this guy, but he was too sweet, so he didn't have to do it. I would have locked his ass up.
No, but he is the epitome of like. He has contact balance so good that it is an unbelievable superpower. And maybe he doesn't have the knock on him is he doesn't have the craziest lateral agility, but it doesn't matter with him because he can get downhill so effectively and his burst is so good. You can see the burst on tape. His
burst is. I can't wait to do our running back.
Yeah, he runs upright. And still nobody can even try and get him on the ground. There was a rep, I think it was against Wake. Maybe it was against NC State, but he caught a hitch and he just sat down and backed up, and it took 3 guys to get him on the ground. And he's just unbelievable. And then he has the home run speed because you can see it on tape. But then to sit there and watch it, and you can see that burst as he runs a 4.4 and that just solidifies for me what I was already kind of planning on doing. I already thought he was pretty firm in my RB2 spot, but that puts him as sort of just an unchangeable RB2. I think he's firmly riding Genty's coattails here.
Yeah.
He's risen pretty high for me.
So the only reason I took him off of my list is because of how high I was on him, and I would like to add to what you said about Marion Hampton. We found out about this guy had to be sophomore year of high school. And I've been a fan of this guy ever since. I mean, he was a fucking beast in high school, and he kept it going at UNC. He was a 3-year starter. He split the backfield with Michael Carter, I think, their last year there.
Yep, Michael Carter, and I think.
Yeah, that was his freshman year. Yeah. Because but he was a 3-year starter from his sophomore year on. And I agree with what you said about his lateral quickness because it's not the best, but he has fantastic feet. His footwork is fantastic. And if Ashton Genty didn't break almost every record in the rule book, he might be my RB1. I have such full confidence in this guy. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. He might be the best in the class. And he is so explosive. I honestly think he's more explosive than Genty. I don't think his balance is quite there. I don't think his balance is on the same level as Genty, which is what separates Ashton Genty from me. But I do think he's more explosive. I think he hits his top gear quicker than Ashton Genty hits his. And he measured really well too. Like I didn't know he was 220. I thought he was like maybe a mid 205 guy like Travion Henderson. But no, dude, he was big, he was lean, and he just displayed that explosiveness in the 40. And I agree with you. He's firm at my RB2. He has been for some time.
He is like, if you were to say like, draw a picture of a running back.
He's
like,
it. Yeah.
You would draw it, and it would be a spitting image of Amari and Hampton. Like he's just everything that I really want, and in a running back, and that's where I have him. I have him at 2, and he's firmly there, and that's why he's a riser for me.
Firmly there. So I went another direction. I didn't put these in any particular order, but if I did, my number 1 would be Armand Membu, a tackle out of Memphis. He was already projected to be a first-round pick, but his combine performance probably locked him into the top 10. He tested crazy. He measured 6'4", 338 pounds. He ran 4.92 at that size, which is just crazy for a guy who can move like that. Kind of like Lane Johnson. He has experience across the O-line. He definitely rose the most for me just because of how he tested at the combine. He had almost a 10-foot broad jump. He had a 34 vert as an O-lineman at that size. And I just think his technique isn't quite there for me, but I didn't see that coming from him at that size from the tackle spot. So he was definitely a riser for me, and I just wanted to shout him out. He's probably locked in as a top 10 pick now because of his combine performance. Number 2, I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins. I didn't think he was running sub 4.5. I thought he was going to run maybe sub 4.6. I thought he had like 4.55 maybe written all over him. No, he ran 4.48, which is really good for a guy at his size. Right behind Omari and Hampton, I think he's the number 2 receiving back in this class. He's got great hands. Didn't always get displayed at Ohio State. I almost wish Travion Henderson left last year so we could have seen Quinshon Judkins alone in a Chip Kelly backfield. But he definitely rose for me, kind of again because of his combine performance, confirmed that some things that I was questionable about, like his explosiveness, like his top gear. Another thing, he probably caught the ball the best at the combine, so he probably puts up an argument as the top receiving back in the class. I knew he had good hands, though, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was gone in the second round, which kind of rises him because he was projected to be like a 4th-round pick, I think. And then number 4, I have Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. I didn't know he was 6'4". He was listed at 6'2" on most sites. And he tested really well, ran 4.48. He's got giant hands. He's not quite the prospect Tetairoa McMillan is, but he's probably a top 5 receiver for me now. He was great at Iowa State. He's a jump ball guy. But what impressed me most recently has been his footwork. He's definitely improved on that, which has kind of elevated him into that kind of upper echelon of receiver in this year's class. I think this is a pretty good receiver class. But yeah, he's my last riser. We'll get into our fallers now.
You keep rolling here because I went first, and I'll follow you up.
Yeah. I'll keep rolling. My number 1 faller was Isaiah Bond, simply because he was going to break. He said he was going to break the 40 record, and then ran a sub 4.4.
I think there was like a report that like he had wobbled right before he ran, and that set the clock off early.
I don't give a shit. You get 2 runs. Break it in one of them.
That's true.
I don't care.
That's true.
He said he was going to break it. I was ready for him to break it. He didn't. Matthew Gordon came closer than he did. Matthew Gordon ran like 4.29. He could have done that, and I would have been pretty impressed. But no, he ran like 4.38.
You're right.
Shitter? God.
You're right.
I still think he's a pretty sweet prospect, though. That's the only reason I have him.
He's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
He just don't be an arrogant asshole and then fuck up.
Exactly. That's really it for me. Number 2, I had probably one of the worst testers at the combine this year, Tej Johnson. Testing involves them measuring you height and weight wise. He failed both of those. He was like 5'9", like 154 pounds, and he ran the worst Let me think about this stat. I saw it. He ran the worst 40 time for the lightest receiver in this class since like 2003, I think.
Yep.
He's small and he's slow, and that's just not a recipe for success in the modern NFL.
No, I do think for him is he is one of those guys. He is. I agree with you on this. He's number one on my combine followers, but he's one of those guys that falls into the fact that he had a crazy good Senior Bowl, was cooking every single corner in the Senior Bowl, and just fucking straight up running by them.
I think that matters, though. I think his route running ability matters. He might be able to succeed in the slot, but his whole thing coming out of Oregon was that he was a burner. Yeah, especially after the Ohio State game, everyone thought he was a burner.
It is, but then he was a burner in the Ohio State games, and I wonder did 240 reps tell how fast he really is?
I think so. It does for me. I mean, his top gear isn't fast.
I'm not nearly as far out. He definitely has fallen. I think more so due to the weight. But it's like you watch.
Yeah, that's it for me right there. He's 154 pounds. I can't.
You watch the tape though, and he transfers to Oregon, and he goes for 1,100 yards and then 900 yards and 20 touchdowns in that span. And I think you just watch the tape and you watch that dominance, and he goes up and gets the ball, and I think that matters more than the combine numbers. People fell into this same trap with Tank Dell, and Tank Dell was really, really productive before he got hurt. And I just think I value his body of work as a college player more than this combine, but I do agree that he has fallen for me because of it.
It's pretty unfair for me to be checked out on him. I just am. Mm-hmm. I'm just checked out on him, and it's
a jarring thing to see.
It's a little bit for more than the combine. I mean, my argument is mostly to do with the combine, but it almost seems like little it can be any skill position. Little people who run slow, who are thin, don't succeed. And I think the biggest testament to that for me is probably Puka Williams from Kansas, because he was a guy who was supposed to run sub 4.3. I think he ended up running like a 4.46. I don't even think he's in the league anymore, and he was a similar size and weight. It's just, I don't know. Maybe he's just my faller.
Yeah, I don't disagree. You want to get into your 3?
Yes, my 3 was Dylan Gabriel. Mm-hmm. I was already pretty checked out about Dylan Gabriel, but I don't know about you, I saw a lot of reports that people were high on Dylan Gabriel. I saw reports everywhere that Dylan, especially after the Senior Bowl, that Dylan Gabriel was like QB 6, which I still think was too high for him. I'm just going to scroll down. I have him as QB 12. Dude, he kind of stunk it up in the combine. Mm-hmm. I'd like to add one more faller. I'm glad you brought him up, because I didn't put him on my list because I thought you were going to put him as a riser, and I didn't want to be embarrassed. Quinn Ewers stunk, and a lot of people said he was good. He missed a lot of throws at the combine, and he's kind of going to overtake Dylan Gabriel for me, simply because he interviewed with the Steelers. Did you see what he said?
I did not.
Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna read it for you here. An interview with Mike Tomlin, a pre-draft interview with Mike Tomlin. If it lets me, hold on. You can talk about Quinn Ewers' combine performance. Take me through yours.
Yeah. So when you get there, I've got Tez Johnson at 1 of my followers, and at 2 I have Will Howard.
Right.
And at 3 I have Quinn Ewers.
Okay.
So those are my 3 followers, and for Ewers and Howard are both the same thing. I mean, Howard had said before, he was like, I want to be accurate and I want to be good, but I also want to put some ass into it. And it's like, well, first of all, what the fuck does that even mean? And second of all, he didn't, and he stunk, and he missed damn near every single throw he could have. And it's like, god damn, man, they're wide open, literally.
Yeah.
You know what route they're running, and you just miss them every time. And Ewers the same deal. And so those guys are my 2 fallers. And Howard, as my faller has fallen more for me because over the weeks I've become a little bit higher on him, and this has just kind of like kicked the chair out from under him for me.
I'm going to talk about that. I was also going to put Will Howard. He didn't have a great showing, but there was one thing that did it for me that I'll talk about later. But Quinn Ewers quoted Cardale Jones in his meeting with the Steelers, which is like, shocker, the fucking Steelers pick a pre-draft meeting with fucking Quinn Ewers. Jesus Christ. But he quoted Cardale Jones in saying, "We didn't go to college to play school. We went to college to play football."
Oh no, I did actually see that.
Yeah,
I just discounted it. So
he said that to Mike Tomlin, which is like, you'll see it in my quarterback rankings. The mentals are playing a big factor with me this year.
Uh-huh.
I don't even think Quinn Ewers has it on the physicals. So I'll check and see where I have Quinn Ewers. He's my QB 9. Mm-hmm. Quinn Ewers is. Jesus Christ. Fuck Quinn Ewers as far as I'm concerned. Should have stayed at Ohio State, you fucking shitter. Maybe you would have gone in the first round.
Yep.
Anyway, you want to get into our quarterback ranking?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off.
You want to snake it? You want to go back and forth, or do you want to just go down the list?
No. Let's snake it. Let's each compare our ones here.
All right.
And then I've got Cam Ward at 1.
Okay. I'll let you back that up before.
Yeah, I think Ward, he has the frame. He has the arm. He does have a power arm. It's not nearly as big as one other guy in this class that we'll talk about in just 1 second.
Just 1 second.
But it's not. He does have the power arm. He has. I'm not totally bought in and like, he's so nonchalant. Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of like lame. He makes some bad plays as he's meandering to the sideline. But I do think overall he has a really good creation ability, and he has a really good sense for getting out of pressure. And he like his heartbeat really is slow when the pressure gets on. He keeps very collected. He keeps his feet under him, and his mechanics stay pretty similar all throughout every single rep. Now, he does make some boneheaded moves, and his accuracy is fairly spotty sometimes. And we'll talk about this when we get to Shedeur a little bit more. But Ward, he was blessed with a good O-line and bad receivers this year, which is like a strange combination because you see all these reps where he's just like literally standing and not even like jittering his feet at all in the pocket, and it's like you pan to the like defensive secondary and it's like, okay, well literally nobody's open. There was one rep that I think of, I forget who it was against, but like his front side concept was jogging and not looking for the ball. And then it's like it when you pan, the camera pans over, it looks like you're like looking at like a World War II scene. You're like, oh my god, all my friends are dead. Like it's like you pan over and like number 7 Restrepo is like laid out in the middle of the field, and the other guy's like triple covered, and the tight end's getting fucking mugged, and the running back is stuck in the backfield. He can't get out, and it's like, well, the only thing he can do is stand there. And it's like, and this is where like he does have to force some things because his receivers really are not very dominant and were not very dominant. They weren't creating that separation. And I think a testament to how good Miami's offense is pretty much you put it on Cam Ward's back. And he's my QB1 for that reason, even if I don't necessarily think he's like your typical lock, like QB1 top 3 pick caliber.
Right.
Like I have him at my QB1, but probably still.
I don't think anyone in this class is.
If I were to put like an actual like grade on him, it would be like mid first round.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you get into yours.
All right, number 1. Jesus Christ. I put Jackson Dart. I'm so fucking checked out on Shedeur and Cam Ward both. They both have the fucking worst mentals of any 1-2 fucking quarterback tandem in any draft class I think I've ever fucking paid attention to in my life. It's so fucking shitty. Shedeur's dropped down my board pretty fucking significantly, and so is Cam Ward. I don't think there's any throw on the field Cam Ward can make that Jackson Dart can't, and for that, I'm willing to take Jackson Dart for the fucking aspect that he has a little bit of a better fucking attitude than Cam Ward does. Dude pisses me off so fucking bad. But this is just the thing with top 3 quarterbacks. Shedeur probably had a bigger impact in what happened to him because of me. Or shit, I don't even know how the fuck I just said. Because of what he has said and because of what he's done, quarterbacks who are arrogant just fucking piss me off, dude.
Right.
You're the team, dude. You're the fucking team. You're the engine, man. So what? You're gonna be like, fuck, dude, it's all me. No, you got a fucking transmission. You got shocks. You got struts. You got the whole fucking deal. You got the whole 9 yards behind you. It's not just fucking you.
Yeah.
And that's the same. It's the same shit with Shedeur. So for number one, I'm going to go ahead and pick Jackson Dart because, frankly, I think he's a little bit better thrower of a ball. I'm not trying to discredit Jackson Dart by just putting him over Cam Ward because of Cam Ward's attitude. I think Jackson Dart has a little bit better of an arm, like real talk.
I agree.
He put on fucking sweet at the combine. He was up there with every other combine guy. I have another guy who shined pretty well who's just down the board for me. Mentals matter, man. Mentals matter when you're analyzing the fucking quarterback spot. I'm just tired of seeing, Ward and Shedeur going 1 and 2, and call it, fatigue for me. But either of these quarterbacks is just recipe for disaster for a team like the fucking Browns who can't develop a quarterback as it is. Both of these guys need a little developing. And I think Jackson Dart, he's pretty pro-ready. He's not the most pro-ready guy. I would argue Will Howard is. He had a pretty bad combine, but we'll talk about that later. Jackson Dart's just my number one. Fuck Cam Ward and fuck Shedeur. Fuck them both. Your turn. Number 2.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with anything that you said. The fatigue of these guys, I mean, it seriously is real because you get these two guys who are like not top tier QB prospects acting like they're about to change the world, and it's pretty fucking infuriating, man, because neither of them are really that good. That being said, I do have Sanders at 2.
Okay.
Why I have him below Ward and above Dart is he is, I do think, a naturally accurate quarterback. And
I'm going to get my chance. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm just fuming over here, man.
No, you're good.
I'm fucking fuming. It's this mellow yellow. It's making me fuming.
Yeah, no. So he has really slow feet, though. Mm-hmm. Sanders does. And though there are reps where he steps up into pressure and delivers really accurate throws down the middle of the field. There are also reps where he runs around like he's Kyler Murray, but he's actually more closer in profile to Kyle McCord in athleticism, and he gets fucking hawked down. Like, to watch that Nebraska game, to watch the Nebraska game is to watch. It's like a fucking horror show, Shedeur, and the same thing with BYU is like he tries to be the hero, but he doesn't have that athletic profile, and his arm is not very strong. Even though I do believe he has the ability to layer throws over the middle of the field, and so I do think he's a somewhat safe bet to pick and come in and operate an NFL level offense to some degree. I don't think that he's going to come in and elevate pretty much any situation.
I agree with what you said. I'll get back to it in just a minute. Miles, who's your QB1, baby? Who's your QB1 in this class?
In this draft, I do love. I think Cam Ward is the QB1, but I love the back half of the class.
Miles was talking. I'm going to let you make your case. You go ahead, Miles.
You got so many fun prospects. You got Jaden Milroe, Jackson Dart.
Will Howard. Jackson Dart's a top 5 quarterback, Miles. I'm just kidding. Keep going. This is your spotlight. I'm not trying to interrupt you. Keep going.
I think Will Howard had a bad combine, but I still think he's he went off in the playoffs, mm-hmm. and I think that has to say something. Mm-hmm. You got Dylan Gabriel. Who else is in there? There's a lot of just fun Texas quarterback.
Quinn Ewers.
There's going to be some of them are definitely going to get some starting reps at one point, and I like Jaden Milroe too because there's no expectations on him to a first round. He has time to develop behind someone, and he
hopefully
and he's got a better chance I think of developing than Cam Ward does.
Or the Jets take him number 6 and he fails. Off rip.
Which could be an epic turn of events.
Miles, I so appreciate your insight. We're gonna have you back for your go to the week. I just wanted to hear you talk for a little bit. I love the way you say things.
Maybe it's not like a stacked quarterback draft, but it's fucking fun.
Miles, I bought a third microphone today. Do you want in on episode 9? Because we'd love to have you.
Sure, dude.
Miles is gonna get
in here, man.
All right, we're gonna have Miles on episode.
I'll do the Michael Brewery segment.
We're gonna have Miles back later for his go to the week pick.
Dude, I'll be all loaded up on like George Pickens like burner account. Man. I know all the.
We love it. We love to hear from Miles, our executive producer. But is it my turn for number 2?
Yes, it's your turn.
Number 2, I have Cam Ward. I've already gotten into it. This guy's a shitter. What the fuck, dude? You can throw the ball, just like care about the team a little bit. That's all I care about. Fuck face. Jesus Christ. Your turn. Number 3. Dude, this is a sweet episode.
Jesus Christ. Number 3, I do have Dart. He's risen over my off season pretty steadily.
Dude, this graphic's going to be insane.
Yeah, it is. I do have some really, really serious concerns about Dart, actually. Like, I do think...
Dude, what don't you like, dude? He cares about the team, he can throw the ball a little bit, and he's got swag.
I have
and he wears number 2, which is fucking sweet, dude. Terrell Pryor wore that number. Does that not mean anything to you?
So you're saying Jackson Dart's going to catch 1,000 yards?
Jackson Dart...
He could.
I'm locking it in. Jackson Dart's winning Rookie of the Year. I'm locking it in right now. Jackson Dart's winning Rookie of the Year. We haven't even done this yet. Jackson Dart's winning Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Continue. I'll be firm on that all offseason.
Well, look, I just do have serious concerns about him operating an NFL-level offense. I have really big concerns about his ability to handle pressure. He tends to just like crumble. He doesn't have very many reps at all of him stepping up and layering a throw over the middle. And he does have all the arm talent in the world, and I think he can develop. But I don't love him as a day one starter coming into the league.
Here's my thing about I'll offer you a little rebuttal is that Jackson Dart is like his grace to success is the fact that he's probably going to go like top 20. He's not going to go top 5. Anyone who says he will, he might go top 7. I could see him going top 7. But anyone think do I think he's going to go number 1? No. Do I think he should? Probably.
I don't think he should.
Especially, I think he would be sweet in Tennessee. Honestly, I really like that fit. The more that I think about it,
I think he would provide the same exact thing as Will Levis.
I think he would be about where Ward and Shador are by the end of the. I think they'll all put up some.
I don't know. I think I've got.
If Dart gets to start off the rip,
I just don't think he should, and I say this like I've got Ward as like a mid first round grade. I've got Sanders as a second round grade probably.
We're gonna do a mock draft.
Yeah, and Dart.
I can't wait to do a mock draft. That's gonna be sweet, dude. We're gonna join the realm.
Yeah, I think Dart just really profiles better as a day 2 pick. I think that he has a path to succeed, but I don't think that path is going to a team that's not ready and throwing him into the fire. I think he needs to develop and learn how to operate a full field offense before you just get thrown into the kind of a dumpster fire.
That's what the offseason's for, dude. That's what rookie OTAs are for.
That's fair. All right, so you want to get into your 3 here?
I'd love to get into my 3. My number 3 is fucking Kyle McCord, folks. Kyle McCord, I trust him just as much as any of the other 4 to step in as a day 1 starter. Kyle McCord probably has the best arm in this class, if I'm being honest. Kyle McCord's another guy who, guess what, cares about his fucking team. That's why I have him over Shador. I think Kyle McCord, similar to Dart, Ward, and Sanders, can make every throw on the field. I have no fucking doubts in his arm. He's got a first round arm for me.
This guy loves white quarterbacks.
Dude, it's not that. I'm telling you, if Ward or Shador cared about the team, they'd be 1 and 2. That's all it is for me, man.
So what? Never mind.
No, I don't even want to hear what you have to say because that's all it is. I'm not pushing any fucking agenda here because guess what? I could have fucking Jalen Milroe at my 2 as well because guess what? He cares about the team. You only reason I don't is because he has a lower tier arm, which is fucking weird in a shitty quarterback class, but whatever. Anyway, back to Kyle McCord. He set just about every fucking ACC passing record there is. Not to mention, he's got a little bit of fucking swag himself. I like Kyle McCord. He's got the biggest chip on his shoulder of any quarterback in this class. He was shipped off from Ohio State. I don't think he should have been. They could have won the Natty with him anyway. Kyle McCord's sweet, dude. I could make an argument for him to be my fucking quarterback one, because they guess what? 1 through 4, Dart, Ward, McCord, Sanders, all have the same arm. None of them have a different arm than the other. They're all the fucking same.
I disagree.
Some of them can analyze pressure a little different. I don't think any of them have the same arm.
I disagree entirely.
You think Ward has the best arm?
I think Dart has the best arm, and I think Sanders by far has the worst out of the 4.
If I was to make a case, well, I agree with what you said. I
do not think Kyle McCord or Shador have a power arm.
I think McCord has a power arm.
I disagree. When you look at the tape, it doesn't look like it fucking explodes out of his hand like it does with Ward and Sanders. It just does.
It does with Milroe too. He has that flick of the wrist, but I think he didn't really have to. I mean, Syracuse had a lot of win over the top plays. They beat a lot of people deep. I agree.
I just don't think he has a power arm, man.
I could be sold on the fact that he has a power arm. He showed it off in the Senior Bowl. He also had a really good combine. He had a comparable combine to Dart.
I just don't think he has the ability to like rip a ball at light speed down the middle of the field in between zones. I just don't.
I'm going to be real with you. I don't think any of those quarterbacks can. I don't think any of these 4 can.
I totally think Ward and Dart have that in them.
I don't.
I think they've got the arm for that.
I don't think.
They haven't necessarily shown it on tape, but they have the arm for it for sure.
I have to see it. All these quarterbacks suck. I hate this fucking class. McCord at 3. Your turn. Number 4.
I've got Milroe at 4.
Okay. Wow.
I think I value the athleticism a lot.
That's a good. I like Milroe as a prospect.
I think he's one of these guys that can be picked and sit, like Miles said, and just have no expectations for a couple of years.
I love what Miles said, dude. I'm still thinking about it.
And then you just put him in there at some point, and I think he's the kind of guy who can go on like a Jalen Hurts path in the actual league, and rather than going on this progression through college and just working himself up, always improving every year. And he really does have that. Like, the floor with Milroe is that your rushing attack is going to be good when he's on the field, because he is that electric on the ground.
If he stays till the second round, I'd love to see Pittsburgh pick him.
Yeah,
I don't like him as a first round prospect.
I don't either. I don't really like any of them as I just hate this quarterback class. Just pisses me off. Because the 2 best guys don't give a shit about the team, and then the 2 guys below them just fucking love the team. But yeah, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, no. So I have Milroe at 4, but
that's also a good pick.
I have him as like pretty solidly in like middle of like day 2. As a prospect.
Whatever. My 4, I had Shador. Like I said, dude, I just think all these fucking quarterbacks are one and the same. 2 of them are white and 2 of them are black. 2 of them care about the team. 2 of them don't. It doesn't matter what fucking order you care about.
Common denominator there, huh?
Shit, dude. If Shador cared about the team, I'd be all over him. I'd be shouting Shador for 1 from the fucking rooftops, because guess what? I loved Shador. Turns out, guy doesn't give a fuck about the team. So guess what? I'm off the fucking bandwagon, man. I'm all about the team. I liked watching Cam Ward. Then I watched him sit out the second half of the fucking Senior Bowl, or not the Senior Bowl, the fucking Pop-Tarts Bowl. After he set the record, guess what? Miami lost that game. Since then, checked out on him. Fuck both of them. I watched Jackson Dart and I watched Kyle McCord play in bowl games. That's all I care about. They have comparable arms, so guess what? They get the nods because they care about the team.
You ever think they played in bowl games because they had to raise their draft stock because they weren't good enough with the shit they put on tape?
Dude, I think some of McCord's Kyle McCord's best throws came against Clemson, who made the playoffs.
I mean, that's fair. I have McCord at 5. He's in my top 5.
I had Milroe at 5 for all the reasons you said. I really like Milroe. I really like Milroe as a project prospect. Like I like what I said about the Steelers. Like, if my favorite team could snag him in the second round, I'd be all over that. I don't want them to push him onto the field right away. Like, I'd like them to bring back Fields or maybe bring in Rodgers or. Who cares? I like Milroe as a prospect though.
Yeah. For McCord, for me, he's just more of these guys. Like, he's got the
swag.
Sure, he's got the swag. He's a very consistent player all around. I just don't think he necessarily has that superpower anywhere, and that's why I kind of like him as like a day 2, day 3 guy. I think he can come in. I think he will have quality starts at some point in his NFL career. And I just don't think that he's one of these guys that I'd be super comfortable coming in and having Kyle McCord as my plan, you know. And then I'll go ahead and go to 6 here. I've got Ewers at 6. I just think I'm not very high on him at all. And from here on, you could really convince
6
me.
through 17 doesn't matter. Did you have all or 16? I guess.
The only guy,
16?
The only guy that you had that I didn't have, I didn't have Max Brosmer.
You didn't have Minnesota Golden Gopher superstar Max Brosmer?
I sure didn't.
We'll get into that. I'll make you look shameful.
Yeah, man. But no, pretty much I have Ewers here at 6, but really, I mean, as I was saying, you could convince me to put these guys pretty much in any order, especially 6 through 10 are I'm whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't really.
I'm about to make a case for my 6. I'm about to put on for my 6.
Go ahead.
My number 6 is a guy who I wish I could have swapped out for my number 3. Will Howard sucked at the Combine, which I think everyone gives a shit about fucking way too much. Because guess what? Will Howard had one of the greatest college football playoff runs anyone will ever see. Okay, one day of passing the ball is making everyone hop off the Will Howard bandwagon. I think he would have ran one of the fastest 40s of the quarterbacks, probably a top 4 40. I'm not concerned about his arm because while his intermediate throws were ugly, guess what? He made every fucking deep throw. Mm-hmm. He looked great in the deep passing section of the Combine, but no one seems to give a shit about that. I would trust Will Howard with the keys to my offense in year 1 more than I would trust any of the other quarterbacks. Will Howard's he's already a veteran. He's got some pedigree to him. He's tough. He's probably the toughest quarterback in this class. I wish he performed a little bit better at the Combine so I could have made a push for him into the top 4. But the Combine's really the only thing keeping me out. I don't really have I wish it was a little bit thinner of a quarterback class so Will Howard could be a little bit higher because I think he's really good. Maybe he'll get taken by a team like the Rams and people will start to trust him after 4 years and everyone will question why. I like Will Howard. Who's your number 6?
I had Ewers at 6.
Oh, yeah.
But,
who's your 7?
Howard is my 7.
Okay.
I do think that he has a certain floor to him that could set you pretty consistent. I think he's a quarterback that can really keep you afloat here if you pick him and like day 3.
I wish Pittsburgh would take him. Pittsburgh could take him and fucking give him the keys.
I just don't know if he's got that in him. I agree that he is accurate down the field, but he doesn't have the arm to get it there quickly at any point on the field. And he, over the middle, he is just not been very consistent at all.
I think tape would probably differ because it's just because I'm an Ohio State fan. There's probably some bias playing in there. He made a lot of throws over the middle this season, and maybe once we get into our film studies ahead of the draft, it could sway you a little bit. I don't know.
I mean, I could.
I'm just too high on Will Howard.
I could get behind Howard. I could switch him for McCord at 5. But that's as high as I would be.
And I understand. There's a certain ceiling to where you're going to put him.
I do think he is a fair. He's got he does have a fair floor. Mm-hmm. I think he can. I think he has the ability to operate in an NFL offense. Right. I just wonder of him doing it at a high level or even an okay level. I just think he's the kind of quarterback who, if your guy got hurt and he came in, I don't think your team would be devastated for 3 weeks.
Yeah, no. I agree.
So let's get into 8 then. Or I guess you have to give your 7 here.
Number 7, I got fucking Missouri Tigers superstar Brady Cook, who had fucking, honestly, one of the best Combine performances of any quarterback.
That was the most surprising shit I've ever seen.
Dude, I've got a couple Combine superstars at my 6 and 7, but I mean, Brady Cook, he didn't have the numbers, but neither did Luther Burden this past year. I would have liked to see a little bit more out of Missouri as a whole, especially after they beat the shit out of my Buckeyes in the Cotton Bowl a couple of years ago. But I like Brady Cook's arm pretty well. Like I like him as like a 5, 6, 7 round sleeper. Like I don't think he's a great prospect by any means, but I definitely think he's got a pretty elevated floor. He's a guy who can make a lot of throws. He checks out physically. I think he's 6'2", like 216. He measured at the combine, and he had a great throwing session. So he spun the rock. That's all I needed to see. Who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Riley Leonard.
Okay.
I don't really even know why.
Dude, it gets so questionable. It gets harder to defend these guys.
Like I don't know. He can run QB power.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I don't know. I think I like. I don't know what I like. He's like he brings a good attitude to the practice squad. I think
he's 6'4". Josh Allen's 6'4".
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
It's pretty sweet.
I have him quite a bit down the board. Number 8, I have Tyler Shaw. Stud. Fucking monster, dude. He flew pretty well on air, and that's all I needed to see.
I didn't have him either anywhere on the list.
You didn't have him on your list?
No.
Fuck, dude.
I forgot about him entirely.
Nah, dude. He's beast. He checks out on my list. He's my number 8. I don't really know anything about him. I know that I like him more than Quinn Ewers.
I mean, honestly, fair enough.
I put him ahead on the board.
Number, what are we at, 9 here? I've got Brady Cook at 9.
Okay.
I don't. Again, like
what's going on?
Whatever, dude. I feel like I blacked out. Keep ranking these, but he's fine.
You're gonna get less and less analysis as this list goes on because we still have a hefty amount of picks to make. Maybe I'll go on a rant by the time I get to Will Rogers, but for now, are we on 9 still?
You're on 9 here.
I have Quinn Ewers, dude. Fuck Quinn Ewers. Who cares? Quinn Ewers is QB 9. That's all I have to say about that. He's another guy who I don't think cares fully about the team.
You're right. You're right. I'm moving him down from 6. Fuck him. Howard's at 6.
Let's go. I hate Quinn Ewers, dude. He should have never left Ohio State. Maybe he would have gotten developed and thrown for more than 2,800 yards in a season. Shitter. Let's hear your 10.
10, I have Gabriel. I just think he's pretty uninspiring all around. I think just pretty much I'm just having him at 10 because he's got a pretty good college resume. I don't know.
We're on 10. 10, I have Riley Leonard.
Yeah, and he's a lefty. Thanks, Miles.
I have Riley Leonard. He's not a lefty. He can run a little bit. He's 6'4". I don't know if I mentioned that, but
you did.
Who fucking cares about Riley Leonard, dude? Guy sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's listening to this and crying. Who's your number? Who's next?
Yeah. Can I just put some of it?
Yeah.
Add the podcast.
Add some.
You know, I'm thinking about. I like Dylan Gabriel to the Titans.
At 1?
Not at one. But you get him in the 3rd round or whatever. You don't draft a quarterback. You trade back.
Dude, if you get Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, you deserve to be fired.
No. See, Will Levis needs a mentor. And
Dylan Gabriel is going to be
Dylan Gabriel is a 7-year college starter.
Dude, why don't
you bring him in? You have him start before Levis his first year, and you mentor him.
Why don't you just bring in Rodgers?
Rodgers isn't going to mentor him. Rodgers is an asshole.
Rodgers is going to get him high, dude.
That's mentoring as far as I'm concerned, man. I could do with some mentoring if that's what it is.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, 7-year college starter. You trade back the number 1 pick, get a bunch of picks for next year.
Shout out to my dad real quick because I know he's probably the only person that's going to be listening this deep into the podcast because we're already an hour and 30 minutes in. My dad fucking loved Dylan Gabriel coming out of UCF, dude. He was sweet because my dad was so heartbroken when Mackenzie Milton went down. My dad loved UCF.
What are we talking about?
I'm talking about Dylan Gabriel, if you'll let me get to it. Jeez, I didn't realize I was on a fucking time crunch on my own show, kid. God, man, I'm just trying to...
Man.
No, man,
Sorry,
you know,
man.
it's fucking whatever. I'm trying to analyze a quarterback, but fuck me, I guess. You know, whatever. Trying to...
Talking about Mackenzie Milton, man.
I like Mackenzie Milton, okay? Whatever. I don't even care anymore. I don't even care.
Who's your 10?
I already told you 10. It was Riley Leonard.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Who's your
11 is Max Brosmer. As I said, Minnesota Gopher superstar. I hate him a little bit less than Dylan Gabriel. That's why he's QB 11.
Okay. I have Cam Rising at 11.
Damn, dude, you put him hella high. I had Dylan Gabriel. I had
all the way up at 11.
You mean 12?
Sure. I've lost count.
We shouldn't have done all the quarterbacks.
I don't know why we did.
It's okay. For the skill positions, we'll do like top 10.
Yeah. And then I'll just spoil.
Just give the rest of the list.
I've got Rodgers and Mertz to even it out. I think both of those guys fucking stink.
All right, down the list I have Dylan Gabriel at 12, Will Rogers at 13, Curtis Rourke at 14, Cam Rising at 15, and Graham Mertz, my hero, at 15.
I actually had Rourke higher. I had Rourke higher than Gabriel, actually.
Wow. Okay.
Just because I hate Dylan Gabriel.
Dude, Dylan Gabriel's a fucking asshole shitter.
Okay.
You ready to get into the news section? This is shit I care about.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll start with the franchise tags. The Cincinnati Bengals franchise tag T. Higgins for the second straight year. He's set to make $26.2 million, which I think would put him at 2 in terms of yearly average. I can't quite tell you. It might be number 1. I don't know. But he's earning a hefty bag. I'll let you say what you think about it before I get into my spiel, because I have some fucking shade to throw at the Bengals.
He is. I would have let him walk. We talked about this last week. I don't hate it though. I see what they're going for, to keep the core together in 1 year, try and figure it out. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I am kind of just curious about what the hell the Bengals are doing, man.
Yeah. My turn?
Yeah.
I got a fucking news flash, Cincinnati. You're not going to the fucking Super Bowl this year, so how about you let this guy fucking walk and try and earn a little bit of money? I mean, my God. This guy could have been the top paid receiver in football 2 years in a fucking row now, and just because Cincinnati wants him back so they can continue to not put a defense behind this offense that can maybe win a Super Bowl. They're not winning the fucking Super Bowl, all right? They should have just let him walk, become one of the highest paid receivers in football, shown him a little fucking respect like he's done to you, because guess what? He should have sat out this entire fucking year this year. And you're lucky you didn't, because guess what? The team was fucking bad all year. I just wish T. Higgins was hitting free agency so I can give a shit about free agency, but no, Cincinnati's got to be fucking greedy and hold on to this guy. I hope he demands a trade. Fuck Cincinnati. I fucking hate the Bengals. Anyway.
That pretty much covers it. All right, Trey Smith, franchise tag.
Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs franchise tag Trey Smith. Coming off his first Pro Bowl nod, he's set to earn $23.4 million. It's kind of a predictable move. I thought maybe they might get a deal done, but they didn't. What do you think about KC returning their best offensive lineman? Because it kind of sucked.
I kind of just think this is what they should have done. This is what I predicted that they would do, and what I thought would be good that they would do. So, I mean, I think it's good. It begs the question what they're going to do the rest of the offseason with the money that they're trying to collect.
They don't have any money left. They're fresh out.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I like the move. You got to keep your good players on the roster.
Yeah.
I don't really have any big thoughts on this one.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into our 3 releases. We only have landing spots for 2 because who gives a shit about Alex Kappa?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about that before the trade. Darius Slay got released by the Eagles. Was it today? I thought it was today.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was yesterday, but it doesn't
The
matter.
Eagles cut ties with Darius Slay. He's set to hit free agency. They saved themselves $4.2 million, I think, in cap space. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this move before we get into our landing spots for the man?
I don't think it's a huge loss for them.
They're pretty deep at corner.
He was still a fairly, he was a solid contributor all year round, but I think at this point he's a little bit more of a name than a really good player.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he's going to drive a hard bargain in free agency.
No,
I think he could be a very quality pickup for any of these 3 teams I have listed, but I'll let you go first if you want.
I like you have Detroit written down here at 1. I like that.
Yeah, it's a homecoming. It makes a lot of sense. The Lions need DB. He could be a cheap option for him, and he'd be a quality option for him, especially with his price tag. I like a homecoming there. Who do you have at number 2?
Number 2, I actually have Cincy. He's a vet that they can get pretty cheap. And
Right.
I think he can be, even if he's not a superstar, like a fine player, which is what they need. They need some guys who aren't complete net negatives out there.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Number 2, I have Pittsburgh pretty much for every reason you just listed. I get so nervous every time I see Dante Jackson take the field. I wish I could describe it to you. Every time I see
You
him...
don't have to describe it to me, man.
No,
I've watched it for years.
I know I don't. Every time he lines up, even against a team's number 2, I'm shitting my pants. I'm like, dude, he's fucked. He posted a career high in interceptions, and I'm still looking to get him off the team.
Yep. Yeah, totally fair, completely.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and get into your 3 here?
Number 3, I have an AFC North rival. I got the Baltimore Ravens. They've been linked to a number of veteran corners, including Jair Alexander, who I also wouldn't mind if they got. Nate Wiggins was pretty inconsistent at times. He was a little banged up. Plus, I think I like his speed more in the slot anyway. I think he could be used more than just to the boundary opposite Marlon Humphrey, but I wouldn't mind if they picked up Darius Slay for that exact purpose. They could use a little bit of veteran corner help, especially to their defense wasn't that good down the stretch. I'd like to see them bring in a couple defenders, maybe beef up that defense a little bit.
Yeah.
Be right back in Super Bowl contention next year. Who's your number 3?
I've got Minnesota at 3. They're guys. Flores is a dude I think who appreciates veterans who can survive within the scheme and not have to do a whole lot. I think Slay can be really, really optimized for cheap in that kind of a scheme. That's pretty much all I've got to say about that.
Okay, that will lead us into the Devontae Adams kerfuffle. The Jets were expected to release Devontae Adams leading up to his eventual release on what's today, Tuesday afternoon. So he's set to hit the open market. I don't know how much the Jets are going to save, but they're just cleaning up Aaron Rodgers' trash at this point. I think he's quality, though. I think he could be a really good option. I'm just now realizing that I'm going to have to crank these off the dome, so I'll let you go with number 1.
I've got the Giants because that's where I think Rodgers is going to go. So that's my number 1. I think I genuinely... These 3 landing spots would be also my top 3 Rodgers landing spots.
Okay.
I'd still think he's just going to follow his friend because that's what he did to Vegas and then to New York.
Hopefully he learns, man.
I don't think he's going to. Plus, if he went to the Giants, he wouldn't have to move. Like houses, just practicality-wise, and he could probably get a pretty big bag from them. So I think that's what he does. I think they go.
That's a good
Giants.
spot. I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction. It's a boring pick, but I'm going to go Green Bay. They're in need of a lead receiver, and I think he's still that, even at, what's he going to be, 33?
Yeah.
He was a 1,000-yard guy with a rotating door of quarterbacks. He was a little banged up. He played for the Raiders, which I just think is a constant career plague for any NFL player. But, I like the reunion. But I'm going to spice it up a little bit with 2 and 3. Don't worry. I'll let you get into your 2.
For 2, I've got the Steelers.
Fuck.
I actually like this.
I like that one, too.
Devontae's still a separator. I think he would be good for the Steelers.
I only said fuck because I was going to say Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I think he could really be pretty solid there. But I do think the only reason he'd go there is if Rodgers went there, which would end up being a negative for Pittsburgh.
I don't think they're going to bring him in. But
I don't think so either. But
what the fuck do I know?
I don't know. For some reason, it makes sense because that's what I don't want.
It makes a dangerous amount of sense, which
yes,
I'm pretty worried about. I'm going to switch it up a little bit now that I think about it for my number 2. I'm going to go San Francisco.
Okay.
They just cut ties with Debo. We'll get into the Brandon Ayuk situation a little bit later, but pretty much cut and dry. They need receiver help. Obviously they're not looking to tear the roof off the place. They want to stay in Super Bowl contention. I think Devontae could be a quality pickup.
Yeah,
especially in Shanahan's system. That's kind of a fresh off the dome pick, but I like San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't disagree, other than the fact that thinking of Devontae Adams in a San Francisco uniform, like is, like, vibes-wise, washed city. I mean, I don't know. I guess the best way I can put it is, like, 512 yards in 12 games and 3 touchdowns on, like, an uncomfortable amount of targets. That's what I think about.
With a Super Bowl ring, though.
Maybe. That's maybe true.
That's definitely Wash City, though. I'm going to put, like, a bar of soap in his graphic for the fucking Instagram post.
Yeah. Number 3, I've got the Bills. I know it maybe.
Fuck, man. You're making me have to throw these out, man.
I know it maybe seems
Like
strange that
Buffalo, too.
he'd go to a division rival, but I don't really think Devontae gives a fuck.
No, dude, this is barely a division rival to him.
No.
He probably doesn't even know they're division rivals.
No, so I mean, I think Amari Cooper's a free agent, and Devontae, I think, pretty handedly is better than Amari Cooper. So that's about it. I think the Bills would benefit from getting him.
Dude, I'm trying to think, man. They don't have much money, and this is kind of an out there, like, reach pick. I'm gonna go Atlanta. So they don't have a whole lot of money, but Atlanta's got a little bit of cap space.
But they got a lot of heart down there.
They're sound with their receiver 1 in Drake London, who had a pretty solid breakout year last year. He was a 1,000-yard receiver for the first time. They have one of the best running backs in football. What they don't have is a wide receiver 2. Kyle Pitts hasn't lived up to expectations. I don't even know who's behind him. But I would, it also screams a washed city. Like, it's so bad. That'd be a disgusting jersey to imagine. I'd have to swap out my 17 Zacchaeus jersey for a 17 Adams jersey and a Falcons uniform.
I know you wouldn't do that.
No, God, no.
No. I don't know. That just doesn't seem right. But
It's horrible.
It's not a bad pick. I don't think.
Who cares?
You want to get into the Debo trade here?
Did you give who's your third team?
I gave Bills for 3.
Ah, shit. Yeah, the Debo trade. Yeah. So the San Francisco 49ers shipped Debo Samuel out to the Washington Commanders in exchange for was it just a straight fifth? Do you know if it was conditional? Just a straight up fifth. So Debo's set to join. Dude, I really like the fit, honestly. We'll talk about it. I really like Debo in San Francisco. He's going to join Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, the whole crew, Zach Ertz, all the aging guys in Washington who are just hitting the fountain of youth with Jaden Daniels at the helm. What do you think?
I think I really like it. I do have some concerns about Debo as a player, which is really, like, he was named an All-Pro a few years back and got that big contract, and ever since then he's not really lived up to that level of production. And I do think he's still really good. He fits what Kingsbury wants to do really, really well. And
That's my favorite part.
And he is the kind of guy that Daniels needs, a guy that can get open underneath and really turn nothing into something.
Yeah.
And my biggest concern is he's always injury prone. And last year, I know he was playing through pneumonia, which, I mean, if you're playing with a like really impactful respiratory disease, obviously that's probably going to impact your production. But he did not look good last year at all. And I know that could be indicative of San Fran's struggles as a whole, but I just don't think
he looked really bad.
I think
he looked like Luka fat.
Yeah, he is. I do believe he's on the downward turn of his career, which is why a guy like him can go for a 5th round pick. Overall, I do still like it for Washington because I think at the very worst he'll still be a pretty positive contributor, even if he's not the superstar that his name would indicate.
So he's not gonna have 1,400 yards maybe even 1,200 yards, but I absolutely love him in a Cliff Kingsbury offense, dude. I can only fucking sit and dream about the ways dude. I think I'm a Commanders fan now. Straight up.
You have been.
Dude, I think I'm a Commanders fan now. But Cliff Kingsbury is just going to get him involved in so many ways. I've been seeing some crazy-ass shit on the internet. Did you see LaShawn McCoy call Debo Samuel the best player in the NFL with the ball in his hands?
I didn't see that.
Horrible shit, dude. It was fucking garbage. It was so bad. But he's definitely going to be a positive contributor, especially in Cliff Kingsbury's offense. I like him next to Terry, too. Terry's probably more of a deep threat. I think he could be used more.
Yep.
you don't have to waste reps on Terry winning across the middle, dude. Just send him deep. Let him fucking lead the league in deep targets or whatever. Let him break out as a receiver. But I like the fit for Washington.
I do too.
And to only give up a 5th-round pick, dude. Washington's fucking trending right now.
Yeah, and the money is only for this year, and they have the money, so
they have plenty of money, and they're still going to be active. This is just the first deal of what Washington's going to be all about.
I think I like it overall. I do have some concerns about Debo, but I like it overall.
Yeah. So
do we want to?
We can keep it in San Fran because we have one more thing about the Niners.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. So, in wake of, I guess you could say, of the Debo Samuel trade, the San Francisco 49ers, John Lynch, general manager, re-upped that Brandon Ayuk is still available. He's still on the open market. I brought this up because I was really curious to see what you thought his market might be with Debo going for a 5th-round pick. Like, what do you think he could maybe go for in a deal at this juncture?
I don't know. I think the Niners maybe blew it last offseason.
They were Pittsburgh offered their first one, didn't they?
Last offseason, he would have commanded a 1st-round pick, and I think now, after a pretty bad start to last season and then coming off an injury, I don't really think he commands more than a day 2 pick and a late one at that, maybe like a mid to late 3rd. I don't think there's really going to be any biters at the end of this line.
I'd be a biter. I'd send a 3rd for him, which is probably an overpay. I'd still pick him up.
I don't know.
Especially if I was Pittsburgh.
I've liked him. I know you'd do it if you were Pittsburgh.
Dude, if I'm every hypothetical I come up with is from behind a Pittsburgh.
The whole NFL would be on your team if you were Pittsburgh GM.
Dude, I'd bring everybody in, man. I'd drive a hard bargain. Where do you think he goes, though? Where would you like him to go?
Who, Ayuk?
Yeah.
I think I just like him right in San Fran, man. I don't think he goes anywhere.
He was kind of like everyone kind of swapped T. Higgins out to New England for him. I still would like to see him in New England.
I think he would be good there, and if they could somehow get him for a damn 3rd-round pick, I think that'd be pretty cool. But I don't know if I'd love it for most teams, and I just think it's the most likely for him to just stay in San Fran.
We'll kick it over to the Bengals, I guess, and then we'll wrap it up with our final 2 little tidbits of information. The Cincinnati Bengals released guard Alex Kappa, who historically was a pretty good player for them, but really absolutely horribly shit the bed last year. And maybe Joe Burrow fucked his wife or something, but he was not blocking.
No, he was
all year.
Terrible,
he was graded as one of the worst. I think he was the worst guard in football. So you could definitely see this coming, but it's just kind of interesting. He was good.
Yeah, I mean,
he used to be.
At a certain point, the age takes its toll, and living in Cincinnati takes its toll.
Oh well, yeah. When you make that point,
he's in his 30s, right?
I thought he was 32, but I mean, Zach Martin played it.
Well,
he's only 30.
Well, maybe he just fucking blows. I don't know.
Dude, he did blow it. We can't underestimate how much he sucked last year, which more than warrants his being released. But
no, so we're gonna hit Naj here? Is our last thing?
Yeah. Oh, we still have to talk about Stafford.
I don't have too much to say about Stafford. I think.
Well, we got to break the news.
Yeah, this is what I predicted. He's back in LA.
Restructured deal.
Restructured.
Do you know how much he got? He got more, but I don't know how much.
I'm not positive. Not necessarily.
He settled for less.
Yeah, not nearly as much as he would have gotten with the Giants or the Raiders.
Yeah, he settled for much less than he would have gotten with either the Raiders or the Giants. Which his camp I thought was open to. I saw reports that his camp liked, I think, the Raiders. But the day after that, they just restructured his deal. But in wake of bringing Stafford back, the Rams are now open to bringing back Cooper Kupp, which sucks because they made all their good players available, and now they're just taking them all back.
I think Kupp still ends up moving somewhere, but I think that Stafford being solidified to stay is maybe trying to entice Kupp to stay on a discount. But I think Kupp still ends up moving, end all be all.
He could probably sign a pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then
now we're gonna hit Naj here.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm really sad. The Pittsburgh Steelers are letting Najee Harris walk in free agency, despite the fact that he's the only running back in the NFL to have 4 1,000-yard seasons. Over the last 4 years, his expected markets expected to be anywhere. His expected markets to be 8 to 10 million. And guess what? Pittsburgh doesn't want to pay it. Cheap bastards.
Yeah, well, let's get this here. His averages last 4 years, 3.9, 3.8.
Dude, shitty
4.1,
offensive lines. I don't want to hear
4.0.
about it. Shitty offensive lines. They started 3 rookies last year. Shitty offensive line.
He's never had less than 250 carries. He's never played less than 17 games.
Whatever. You know what?
Never ran.
No.
He's never ran for a 40-yard.
This is fucking why you wanted to talk about it, because you had some fucking propaganda built up against my boy. That's the only reason you want to talk about this shit. Because you weren't fucking nearly excited to talk about anything else over the NFL. You just wanted to jump into Najee so you could fucking shit on him. Guess what? Only running back in the NFL over the last 4 years to have 1,000 yards, motherfucker. You only wanted to jump in his ass. I'm pissed. I can't believe you would do that to me. I can't believe you would do that to the show.
I think they should have kept him, man. You didn't let me finish.
My fault.
I was going to say he never played less than 17 games. He never had less than 250 carries. And that they need a guy who can shoulder the workload,
Dude,
who can stay on the team and be a positive contributor overall. And I think he can be better when he's not forced to be the lone bag. I think they should sign somebody else alongside him.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I understand. I had it coming, man. But it's fine. It's fine.
I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay.
I don't think I can finish the show.
That's all right. We're done anyway now. Shit.
We still have our go to the weeks. I don't know if I can get my go to the week.
My go to the week is Najee Harris for getting out of Pittsburgh.
Fuck, dude. I don't want him to leave. Who's your real go to the week?
This is my go to the week.
You're fucking capping, dude. Come on. That's your go to the week. I have a fucking electric go to the week pick, and that's your go to the week. Najee fucking. Come on. He's like the Zion of the NFL. Come on.
Okay, fine. My go to the week is the Turkish soccer team Trabzonspor.
Did they win or something?
No, they lost.
Well, that's the second week in a row, dude. Like,
no, but they lost and they won me money from their loss.
We'll create a fucking betting corner for you to spew your degenerate takes. All right, I'm tired of you fucking.
This is my goddamn go to the week segment. Get off my fucking back.
I'm tired of you bringing fucking losing ass squads into go to the week. Go to the week is a sacred fucking honor for winners.
Trabzonspor, mighty Trabzonspor.
I'm done. All right, I'm unplugging Silas's mic. My go to the week is the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers for their sweet ass fucking comeback against them bitch ass Celtics. Fuck the Leprechaun. Donovan Mitchell had 41. He should be in MVP talks. Fuck the Celtics, dude. The Celtics are so fucking trash. They can suck my dick. Fuck Jason Tatum. He's a fucking garbage ass motherfucker. He doesn't deserve first team All NBA. That motherfucker sucks. Guess what? Jalen Brown sucks too, and that's why he wasn't on Team USA. Garbage ass bitch. The Cavs in 5.
Miles, who's your go to the week?
Miles, who's your go to the week?
My go to the week is Jemai Mashack, Tennessee Vols. He was a hard worker, man. He's never gotten recognized like he should. You know, he does on little shit.
You know, I heard he wasn't really a 3-point shooter, but he really stepped up.
No, and before that, he set us up by going out for the rebound, getting fouled. It's a crucial moment.
Okay.
And he took that ball and he came up, and it was so pretty. It was so pretty. And
Miles was tearing up.
Did you know it was good before it left his hands?
Dude, you saw him shoot that shit. It was just so fucking beautiful. I was like,
Good
holy
shit.
shit, he's gonna shoot it and make it.
That's gonna be like the Cavs shoot around against the Hornets on Friday when they win 140-86.
Oh my god, man!
We gotta get out of here, man.
It was just a beautiful rod of Alabama's ass. I hate elephants.
Thank you, Miles.
TD Garden, Olive Garden, Cavs in 5.
We've been wide right.
Good night, folks. Until next week, we've been
Wide right.
wide right.